Running through a few more constraint options. If I have multiple lines, I can tap to select both of my lines here. And now notice on my right hand side, I have a few more constraints available to me. So for example, if I tap parallel, I should be able to see these two lines become parallel with each other now. And of course, if I was to try to move one or edit one line, you can see the other is still remaining parallel. Similarly, if I can tap to select and apply the perpendicular constraint, I can now see my two lines becoming perpendicular with each other. And just the same, if I was to make any edits or changes to either of these lines, I should see that both lines remain perpendicular relative to each other. The tangent constraint is another very useful constraint. So in this case, if I have a line and a circle, I can tap to select both the circle and the line, and now I have the tangent constraint available to me. And now we can see that has just moved the circle to be tangent to the line. And again, if I were to make edits or changes to the circle, I can see that it is remaining tangent to the line. And just the same, if I was to make any changes or edits to the line, I'm going to see that it's remaining tangent to the circle as well. In just the same way, we can make a line and an arc tangent with each other. So if I just tap to select both the line and the arc here, notice on my right hand side I have the tangent constraint available to me, and now I can see my line and my arc have become tangent with each other. The concentric constraint is very useful as well. This will essentially just throw any circles to be concentric with each other or having the same center point. So for example, I can tap to select both circles here, tap the concentric constraint, and I can see now both of these circles are concentric with each other. And if I was to make any edits or changes to either one, we see that they remain concentric with each other. Another very useful constraint is the equal constraint. So if I have a number of lines, arcs, or circles, in this case let's say I have 3 different circles, I can just tap to select all 3 of these circles and tap the equal constraint. And now we can see the equal constraint coming in, and all of these circles have the equal size. And of course, if I was to make any changes to one of these circles, we can see that all 3 circles are changing the same to remain equal. And of course, this works in the exact same way with lines or arcs. Finally, I have the symmetry constraint. So here I can just tap 2 lines that I'd like to be symmetrical with each other. And notice down at the bottom, I have the symmetry constraint now available. So I can tap symmetry. And now it asks to select a line or an edge. That will be my axis of symmetry. So in this case, I will be using the vertical line in between these 2 other lines. And I'll use this as my axis of symmetry. So now notice I see my symmetry constraints coming in. And if I make a change to either symmetrical line now, I can see that any change or edit I make to that line on the left-hand side of my line of symmetry, I'm seeing the exact same reflection on my right-hand side as well, as these 2 lines are now perfectly symmetrical about my axis of symmetry. This can be very, very useful in more complex designs where there's lots of symmetry within the sketch or the design itself. So now that we've learned the basics of the constraints used within Shapr3D, in the next lesson we'll take a look at putting all these constraints together in a more complex final sketch.